Hi there, my name is Dana Atwood. I'm from the East Central Ohio ESC, and today we're going to be going over Gmail and digging a little bit deeper into some hidden features that you may not know exist. Today we're going to start with contacts, we're going to move to creating labels, and then creating filters. I'm going to jump over to my training email account. This email account is not used that much, but we're going to make it work for today. All right, we're going to start with contacts. And contacts in the Google world is anybody that you email on a regular basis, or even if you've only emailed them once. Google always saves every address that you send to. Now, last year we ran into an issue at one of my districts where we had a former staff member leave, but his name was similar with somebody else that was there. So every time that somebody went to send a message to them, clicking compose and typing in their name, it would always populate. And it would always list everybody's name that was similar as well. But we had some people that were clicking on the former coworker's name and sending them an email when they were no longer here. And they were concerned, well, where did that email go? You know, why is this person's name still in our system? They're no longer here. Well, it's not that they're in the whole system. This name is saved in your contacts, number one, because you've emailed them before, and then number two, they used to be in our directory. So I'm going to show you how to remove that. We also had an issue where there was a misspelling. So maybe you've sent an email to somebody and they never got the email, and you look back and realize that it was the incorrect email address. So then you fixed your typo, you sent them the correct email, and everything's fine. Except for when you come back into your account and you go to send them an email, you always see the misspelling now. And I'm going to show you an example. I had misspelled my name incorrectly to give you the example of the good email address and the bad email address. So you'll see the difference, yes. Since I have a picture in my profile, it's going to pop up. And maybe this one doesn't, so you don't see that. And yeah, that looks a little bit different. But if I accidentally click on that, I'm still going to accidentally send this. And if you do not receive a bounce back notice that it was not delivered, you may not know that there's an issue. But regardless, we want to get rid of that typo and we want to get rid of the old coworker that we're not seeing anymore. So I can show you where that is. We're going to go to the left here and click on Mail. And if you click on that little drop down arrow, you'll have a list of options of Mail, Contacts, and Tasks. Under Contacts, we're going to click on that. You're going to get a list of people that you normally contact, you know, on a daily basis, weekly, just whoever Google thinks that these people are the ones you want to deal with on a daily basis. You also have some more options. If somebody that isn't important to you and you feel like you don't want to lose sight of their information, or somebody that you want to be able to find easily, you can click the star, and by clicking that, it'll show up under here, under your My Contacts was starred. And when you click on that, that's the only one that you see. But if obviously you had more selected, you're going to have more then. Again, this is just our training account. You probably have a lot more in yours. We also have a group where it says circles. If you're a part of Google+, anybody that you are friends with on Google+ is going to show up under the following categories that you have. Down below this, you also have most contacted, other contacts, and then directory. Directory would be a list of anybody in your Google domain. So if you're not quite sure maybe how somebody has spelled their name, or you don't know if they're using a shortened nickname version or their full name for their email address, this is where you would click directory to be able to see everybody in your domain. Under most contacted and other contacts, you're going to see the people that you've contacted before. Again, Google will save a list of everybody there. But this is where you would be able to select those people that you don't want to see anymore if you want to clean up your contacts, which is a good thing to review probably on a yearly basis. That way you can get rid of that information, especially if you have parents you've contacted this year and you won't need to contact them next year. You can go ahead and clean that up here. So if you go ahead and click the checkbox to their name, there's Bob that no longer works with us. and here's my typo. So I'm going to click both of those. I'm going to click this drop-down arrow, and I'm going to click Delete Contacts. Again, I've just selected their names, or if you're just looking for one person, just select their name, clicking the More drop-down list, and clicking Delete Contacts. And then from here, it cleans up your account a little bit. It gets rid of the people that you no longer want to see their names pop up, and it gets rid of any mistakes that you may have made. You can also create your own group distribution lists here as well. And if we have time at the end, I'm going to come back and revisit this. If not, we're going to save that for another topic for another time. But for now, we're going to switch back over to our mail. So again, that's under the contacts, and mail is the top option. And I'm going to click on Compose Message. In an email situation, we all know how to send them. We do this now on a daily basis. We receive them, we forward them, we reply. In our to subject field, we always want to put the full email address with the @theirdomain.com.org. And then the subject line is just always the short, sweet subject of what your body of your email is going to send. You don't put the full body of the email in the subject, and you don't put the subject in the body. The subject is just, again, something short and sweet to the point of basically what's going to sum up your whole body of your email. And then obviously the body of the email. And that's where you can add pictures, text. You can add attachment files. You can insert files using your Google Drive. You can insert pictures, links, and even emojis if you're feeling fancy. But something I want to go over as well, our to section. We have a couple different options. We have the to field, which is the main one we use. We also have the CC option over here to the right. CC means carbon copy. This would be a situation where maybe you wanted to send a letter home to a student's parent, but you also wanted to either copy like your building principal, maybe the school nurse, maybe the secretary, maybe a guidance counselor. You want to make sure that somebody else knows about this issue. You want to keep somebody in the loop, but maybe that person at the school level you don't need to really involve. They don't really need to take any action. You're just making them aware of the issue. This would be a great spot to put that email address in. The to person is usually the person that you want to address the issue to, who needs to take the action. CC, maybe no actions required, but we want to have that visibility and have that listing there. There's also a BCC feature. That BCC feature is called blind carbon copy. So this would be a situation, maybe I need to send an email message home to all the parents of the students in my class, but I do not want to give other parents visibility to the email addresses of other students' parents in my class. That privacy feature is super important, and you don't want to lose sight of that. So here in the BCC field, the blind carbon copy field, this is where I'm going to start adding all those addresses of the parents that I'm going to send a message home to. And by doing that, I can start typing the address. I'm just going to add mine in here a couple times just so you can show you the difference of what that looks like. So as you start typing in those email addresses, it still says BCC. You can click into the subject. You can send add your subject there, then add the body of the email below. Now, when these parents receive this message, it's going to not show other parents' email addresses. So I'm going to actually send a message from my other account, and I'm going to send it BCC just so you can see what that looks like here real quick. Now, when I open up this email, it's just going to say to BCC and me. And the to field is blank. So normally when you send an email address to several different people, you'll see who the email was sent to in the to field. This way, you're only going to see that it was sent to one person. It looks like it was just sent to you, but in reality, it was sent to several other parents. Now, when I reply to this, it's only going to go back to the person that originally sent it. So if you have a parent that replies, it's not going to reply to the whole group. It's only strictly going to go to you. But this is for the safety and protection of yourself as the teacher or the person sending the email, that you're not giving out the rest of the class's parents' email addresses. I'll go back to my message here again. And again, this was the to, the CC, and the BCC field. Again, CC is carbon copy, where there's really no action needed. The to field is where action would be needed to reply back to a message or to forward it on to somebody else that would be able to assist. And then the BCC feature, just so that you're sending an email address, but you're protecting or masking the email addresses of everybody else that you're sending it to. In my email address that I have here, maybe this is, I'm sorry, in the email that I have open now, maybe this is a message that I received that I want to forward to somebody else. And when I forward this message to somebody else, when you do this, you don't automatically see where the subject line of this email is. Yes, you see the subject of my message down here, and some people think that if they change the subject here, that it's going to change the actual subject line of the email, and it does not. Again, remember, this is the body of the email. And Google kind of has this feature hidden. So if you're not quite sure where this is, after you type in the address of who you're going to forward this to, and you select their name, there's a drop-down menu to the left. You can click that drop-down menu and then select Edit Subject. By doing that, it's going to pop up that email instead of in that original window there. And again, I can use my arrows here in the middle or toggle it to a full screen to have a bigger view. And then you have your subject option. So I can erase that full subject line there, and I can type my new subject line here. And then I have room to enter what I need to in the body. And then I can send my message. I'm going to delete this though. Again, this is back in your actual email. If you're replying to this message and we want to change the subject line, or if you're forwarding this message and you want to change the subject line, you're just clicking the drop-down arrow to the left of the to. You're going to click Edit Subject. And then from here, it's already highlighted. You can delete it and you can change it to what you would like it to be. Some people don't realize that that feature is there. It's a little bit hidden through Google, but that's where that is. Delete that message. All right, we're going to switch over now to our labels and filters. We're going to start with labels first. If you haven't used labels before, labels in Gmail are basically set up like folders in a different email client that you would have had in the past. So if you think of labels as folders and get in that mindset, that'll be able to assist you going forward. The first main thing basically with labels is you really want to plan out how you want to organize everything, how you want it set up. So it's just like your filing cabinet when you open up the drawer. So you have your filing cabinet, which is your Gmail account. Then from there, you want to break it down by files or folders, or the labels as Gmail calls it. So first you have to think about what you're trying to organize. So maybe you have several emails that you get on a daily basis from certain people or from certain organizations, or something that you don't want to lose sight of. Maybe it's your superintendent or your principal. Maybe you get professional development emails. Maybe it's emails from your parents. It could be your pay stubs that you receive on a bi-weekly basis from work. Maybe your leave requests. Maybe maybe you're the baseball coach, so you want to keep all your baseball information in one spot. And then maybe you want to do a folder for reminders. However you do it, you want to label it. Map that out in your head first before you start creating these, or jot it down on paper. That way it's going to make more sense to you as you do this. And secondly, you want to name the label something short, but something that you're still going to recognize. You can put professional development. It gets a little bit long and it may cut off some point through the line. If you shorten it to PD, you can still recognize the title of it. And then last, you can also add sub-labels. So if you need to break down the original label into a more useful, workable label, you could do that as well. An example of a sub-label maybe would be when you could put your school or your school district, and then underneath of it, you could put your pay stubs or your leave requests and do separate different labels for that situation. Or maybe you can put your baseball folder, and then you can have away games, home games, you can have purchases, anything that pertains, you can break that down a little bit and have it work better for you. I'm going to show you an example of what a working set of labels in a working inbox looks like. So this is my work email account, and you'll see where I have my inbox and all my general labels to the side. And you'll also see labels that I've created. So if I was going to purchase something for one of my districts, I have my district name, I have purchases and training as subfolders. And you'll see that that's broken down by a little drop-down arrow. I have my other districts. The other thing that's great is that I can color code these labels as well. So here on the right, you'll see that I've added those labels to the emails so I know what it is. It's just basically a quick reference that I can glance and I see, oh, this one's come in, this label's come in today from the ESC. And right away, it's that quick visual to have. Also, I'll show you a quick glance of what it kind of looks like on your phone as well. Labels work great on your phone or your mobile device. It's still the same concept. It's just a little bit more compact. But a quick visual of what that looks like here. All right, we are going to dig into how to create a label. There's a couple different options and ways you can do that. You can click next to your original labels on the left of your mail. You can click more. It's going to bring you more labels. You already have the starred, the sent mail, and the drafts. You also have important, chats, all mail, spam, and trash. While we're on spam, it's also important that you check your spam probably once a week just to make sure that you're not missing an important message that could have been marked as spam. But if you look at the very bottom here, it says manage labels and create new labels. So we're going to click create new label. So in this situation, in this setup, I'm going to create a label that's called pay stubs. If I wanted to nest this under a label, I would do that here. But for right now, I just want this one to be out on its own. That way I can see it and get to that quick. And I'm going to click create. So if you notice on my left under drafts, I've received a new label called pay stubs. If I want to change this and make this a different color, I can mouse over to the arrow over here, click that drop down, and under label color, select any one of these that are here, or you can even add a custom color if you wanted to get fancy. And click apply. Now it's not going to show up until I actually apply a label here. So let's go ahead and apply our first label. I'm going to click on this first email here. And let's say this is a pay stub email that I want to have show up in my pay stub folder. I'm going to come up to the top and under labels next to more, I'm going to click the drop down and I'm going to click pay stub. And then I'm going to click apply. And now you'll notice that my pay stub label shows next to my inbox here. And when I click my inbox, now I have my label. Now let's say I don't want this email to show in my inbox anymore. I can click on that label or that email again, and I can click the X next to inbox. So that email essentially now has been archived. If I go back to my inbox, that label's gone. The email's not been deleted. If you click on your pay stubs label to the left, here's your email. So then you can keep a list of your pay stubs conveniently to be found on the left, and it won't show in your inbox as an email for you there. And back to your inbox. You can always add it back if you'd like. If you select the message, click on labels, well, I used to have an inbox option. Select the message. There we go. Move to inbox. Sorry, it took me a minute. Google's always changing everything. Just when you think you know where it's at, they happen to move it. If you wanted to show back in your inbox again and it was no longer there, you go to pay stubs. You go to the email you want to move. You check the box. You click move to an inbox. And now it has both labels. It's back to the inbox and the pay stub. You click on inbox and it's there again. And when you don't want it to show in your inbox, you can just click the X. And if you don't want it to show in your pay stubs, you can click the X there as well. But if this is a actual pay stub and you want to keep it there, then I would leave the label. It's not showing in your inbox. When you click on pay stubs, it's there. Now, let's say that I want to add another label. I'm going to show you a different way to get there. You can click the drop-down settings gear and click settings. So yes, you can get to it from the more over here to create new label, or you can come into your settings and click actual label. And if you scroll down to the bottom here, these are all your current ones. But at the bottom, then you can create a new label here. And it's the same format and the same setup as the other way. It just looks a little bit different because we're going in through our settings. So this label I want to title PD for professional development. I'm going to click create. Again, we're already automatically in our settings. So I'm going to click on inbox. And you notice our PD label created here on the left. I'm going to give this one a color here as well and choose one of these that are already pre-made. All right, so now we have our pay stubs and our PD schedule, our professional development folder. And I'm going to create another label while we're in here too. I'm going to call this reminders and click create. And I'm going to give this one a color here as well. All right. So in this email message that I have, maybe this email address this email contains stuff that's important to professional development, and it serves as a reminder. So I'm going to label this. And this is the difference with Gmail and other email programs. Gmail, you can put it in several different folders or labels. as to where another email client, you can only choose one. So this is a good feature and a useful feature that Gmail has offered. So I'm going to click on PD and I'm going to click reminders and I'm going to click apply. So now we actually technically have 3 labels on here. We have inbox, PD, and reminders. When I go back to my inbox, I'm going to see both labels on here. So I know that it serves as professional development and as a reminder for me to go back and check this out. So down the road, when I know I have a couple emails in my reminders folder that I need to go back and revisit, you click on the reminders link on the label on the left, it's going to show my email in here, as well as in the PD folder and the inbox, since that's where it still resides. Now I can remove it from the inbox. It's no longer there, but again, it's still in my PD folder and my reminders. Now let's say I want to move that pay stub back into maybe a district folder. I'm going to click down here, create new label, and I'm just going to title this district. And I'm going to click create. So now if you look, I have a label that's titled district. If you take your pay stubs and try to put it, click and drag and drop under district, you can't do that. So I'm going to go back to my settings. I'm going to click on labels. And I've got district here and pay stubs. You can highlight it and rename it if you want to. But once you have a folder created, you cannot add subfolders. Unless you come over to click on your district and add sublabel. So I'm going to expand my district, and now I have my other pay stub label, sublabel right here. So if I want to move all of these that I have in my actual pay stub folder, I can select all of them. I can click district pay stubs and I click apply. And I go back to district and go back to pay stubs, and I'm going to see all my actual pay stubs. I'm going to change this, and now that I have them actually in there, I can get rid of my old label, and I can come back and I can remove the old pay stub label. It's always best practice to have everything mapped out ahead of time and to try and envision what you want to do from there. I couldn't drag and drop my old pay stub folder or my label to it. I had to actually create a new sublabel. So again, if you break it down in how you want it when you first set everything up, it's going to go a lot easier for you. Back to our inbox here. We're going to move on now to creating a filter. A filter would be used in the case or situation where you maybe receive your pay stub on a biweekly basis and you receive it from the same email address all the time. Maybe you don't want it to show up in your actual inbox. Maybe you want it to be applied with that filter, the label, every time you receive the actual email. This is how you would set this up. You copy the email address of the person that you're sending, that sends the actual message to you. And so I'm going to copy my email address for an example. And I'm just going to highlight it here and right-click and copy. I'm going to go to my settings, and I'm going to click on filters. From here, we're going to click create new filter. And you'll see you have several options. I'm going to right-click and paste the from email address. So this would be the person, the email address that your pay stubs come from. I'm going to leave the to subject blank because it's coming to me and I don't want all of those emails that come to me in this folder. I'm going to leave the subject blank. I'm going to leave has the words blank. But what I am going to do is I'm going to come down here and click create filter with a search. Then you'll have some other options that you can select and maybe choose if you fit your needs. You can actually have it skip the inbox altogether, so it's going to straight archive it. You can mark it as read, that way you don't have the message notification icon showing. You can star it if you think it's going to be important and know that you want to be able to find it easy later. And this is where you choose to apply the label. So this is going to be my pay stub, so I'm going to apply the district level and pay stub filter on it. You can also choose to forward it or delete it, which none of these options really work in this situation. If this is a spam message that you keep getting constantly, you want to be able to avoid it. Avoid being sent to spam. Maybe Gmail spam filters are working override, and this is something that's still being marked as spam, but you don't want it to be. This would be where you would create a filter for it. And then you can always mark it as important or never mark it as important. And you can also choose a category it goes in as well. But for this purpose, I'm going to skip the inbox, I'm going to star it, and I'm going to apply the label. There's also, it says there's 4 matching conversations that apply to this filter as well. I'm not going to select this one just because of the situation that we're working with at the moment. But if you already have pay stubs that are in your inbox and it's already picked up that it's from this email address, you can do this to have them all move over as well. So I would recommend checking that box. But in my situation right now, for my demonstration, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to click on Create Filter. So here's my filter where it says it matches from the email address the pay stubs are coming from. And it's saying to do this, to skip the inbox, star it, and apply the label of district pay stubs. So I'm going to go back to my actual work email address here. And I'm going to send a message. I'm just going to title this Pay Stubs. And then we're going to wait for my email to be received. All right. Now, if you notice, I don't have an actual email in my inbox. My inbox says no new mail. But if you notice, down here under District Pay Stubs, I have a new message. If I click on that, it's from the email address that we sent it from originally. Who would be the person sending it? The title is Pay Stubs because that's what I just titled it. And this is a test. So you'll see it automatically applied the label and it also started. So it started as important and it was sent directly to my pay stubs folder. And that notification didn't go off until I clicked on it that it was a new email. So that's how you would know that it was there. Again, I'll show you what it looks like from our inbox down to the left where it says pay stubs. It's in bold with 1. So I know that I've received my new pay stub. And again, it's not hitting my actual inbox. It's hitting my district folder. If I wanted to show in my inbox, I can select it and click Move to an Inbox. So then it's still showing in my district pay stub folder and my inbox as well. So again, I got to it by settings, clicking on the gear, settings, and filters, and create a new filter. So this would be something that if you wanted to set up for anything to automatically have that label apply to it, or if you wanted to send something directly to another label without it hitting your inbox, if you wanted a message to show up as being unread, this is where you would select all these options. If you wanted to mark every email that you got from your superintendent or your principal as important and star it every time, you would do that here as well. Something that I wanted to bring to your attention, back to the main Gmail topic that we're talking about today. As of this month, over 1 billion currently active Gmail users at the moment, so that's pretty awesome. Gmail keeps expanding. Every day they also keep on changing and making their product easier for us to use. So if something in this training has disappeared or moved, I mean, I ran into it a couple times where something that I knew was there before was gone. It's going to happen. It's Gmail. It's evolving constantly. So if it's not there, keep on looking. It's got to be somewhere hidden unless they remove the feature. But if you'd like to register or view more trainings that are provided by the ESC, you can go to our website. It's google.ecoesc.org. And that's going to bring you to a list of our future trainings and archives of our past trainings that we've given. And again, my name is Dana Atwood. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. And you can find me on Google Plus at +DanaAtwood25 and check out some information that I posted there. All right, well, thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to talking to you guys again. Thanks.